Madison, come to my house this Saturday. Keep your schedule open. You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, this Saturday? I'm sorry I wasn't informed. May I check my schedule first? There's no need to check. With my grandchild's birth just around the corner, it's only natural for you as the daughter-in-law to show up. Or is there something more important than my request? It's not that it's more important, but Jacob and I always make decisions together after discussing them. What are you talking about? As the daughter-in-law, my word should come first. And there's no need for any tedious discussion. Just give me an answer. I understand how you feel. But since this is such short notice, it would really help if you could give me a little time. Come on. You really don't get it, do you? Do you realize how important it is to prepare for my grandchild's arrival? When I got married, I followed everything my mother-in-law said. Not a single complaint. I see. That must have been the norm in your generation. But my husband and I want to build a family where we respect each other. I'd really appreciate it if you could understand that. You're awfully set on pushing your own opinion, aren't you? Have you forgotten your role as a daughter-in-law? I never even thought of saying something like that to my mother-in-law. Are you trying to reject me? It's not that I'm rejecting you. It's just that times have changed, and Jacob and I have our own way of doing things. Times may have changed, but a daughter-in-law obeying her mother-in-law hasn't. That's why young people today are so selfish. You need to learn some common sense. I believe common sense changes with the times. But I also want to value your opinion, Jennifer. If your own style is so important, then don't bother coming. I want to respect the things you value as well. But we also want to cherish our family time, so I think mutual understanding is necessary. You really are such a troublesome daughter-in-law. If this were the old me, I would have yelled at you by now. I see. Do whatever you want if that's how you feel. But you'll be the one who regrets it later. Okay. I'll chat with Jacob about this and keep your feelings in mind. Then I'll follow up with you. Madison, I've been waiting forever, you know. Couldn't you at least give me an update? I'm worried too. How can you not understand how I feel? Hey, is the baby born yet? What's going on? I'm so excited about my grandchild's birth. Come on, answer me. Is it over? Or not yet? Why aren't you replying? I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Seriously? Why is your reply so late? This is beyond keeping someone waiting. Do you know how much I've been looking forward to my grandchild being born? I've been checking my phone over and over again. It's just common courtesy to let me know right away, don't you think? I'm sorry, but it's impossible to use my phone during labor. I've been so overwhelmed with everything going on. Labor was much harder than I ever imagined, and I had no energy to think about anything else. Forget it. So, the delivery is over, right? Did my first grandchild arrive safely? Yes, both the baby and I are doing great. However, since it was a C-section, I'm completely exhausted physically. I'm not interested in hearing about your condition. Of course, you're fine, so there's no need to worry about that, right? Now tell me about the baby. Oh, I see. I'm sorry for not mentioning it sooner. The baby is healthy. That's a relief. So, how much did the baby weigh? 8.4 pounds. Oh, that's a big baby. But for a boy, that's just about right. Well, I guess you did a good job. Thank you. But still, I'm so frustrated that I couldn't be there for my grandchild's birth. I wanted to see the moment he was born with my own eyes. Why can't I even visit? It's the hospital's policy. Only one person is allowed to visit. I'm really sorry. Since it's the hospital's rule, there's nothing I can do. Jacob is with you, right? He could at least send me a picture of the baby. You and Jacob are so inconsiderate. We just finally had a moment to catch our breath. We were so exhausted that taking a picture completely slipped our minds. How pathetic. When I gave birth to Jacob, I was much more together, you know? I didn't complain about being tired. Honestly, you're so hopeless. But I had a C-section, so... What's so special about a C-section? Just because you had a C-section, why do you act so superior? I had a natural birth and enjoyed labor pains longer than you did, you know? In fact, I was much better at childbirth. So stop bragging about your struggles over something so trivial. You're right. Natural childbirth is tough too. I'm sorry. But it's not something to compare, so it wasn't meant to be bragging. And why is Jacob tired too? He didn't do anything, did he? I think he was overwhelmed by the atmosphere of the birth and stayed tense the whole time. He seemed worried about me and the baby's safety. Now that the tension's gone, he's completely drained. He's so weak. It took a long time to get pregnant, so I think the anxiety was overwhelming. You've been doing fertility treatments for 5 years, right? It must have cost a lot of money, didn't it? Yeah. It's covered by insurance now, so it's much cheaper than it used to be, but... those 3 years were emotionally exhausting. Why does it take so long to get pregnant? A woman who can't have a child without treatment? What's wrong with you? Women are supposed to be born to bear children, aren't they? But you know, I was worried too. I wondered what we'd do if there wasn't a successor born. I'm sorry to have caused you concern. It would be unthinkable for our family not to have a successor. Such a distinguished family, and it almost ended with Jacob's generation. Jennifer, you got pregnant right after you married, right? I got pregnant with Jacob the same year I got married. So I was never rushed by my mother-in-law about having a child. I see. It seems we caused Margaret some worry as well. Once you're discharged, you'll have to greet her properly. She's your great-grandmother-in-law. So make sure she gets to see her great-grandchild too. Of course. And don't be rude to her, you hear me? Margaret is a very strict person. If you do something disrespectful, I'll be the one who gets scolded harshly later. Oh, really? Yes. When she gets angry, it's just overwhelming. I've spoken to her a few times, though. She seemed very gentle and kind. That's just because she happened to be in a good mood. She's been strict with me ever since the old days. Especially when it came to raising kids. She always had something to say. Well, I guess it's only natural for mothers-in-law to be strict with their daughters-in-law. It's their role to guide them after all. But still, Margaret was truly something else.
I see.
Well, now that I'm a mother-in-law, I won't hold back either. I'm not planning to spoil you, Madison. You've got to raise an important successor for this family. And as the wife of Jacob, you need to carry yourself with dignity.
Yes, I'll be counting on you for guidance and advice.
I'm honestly worried about how this will turn out. You're lacking in so many areas compared to when I got married. Knowledge, skills, manners, you name it. I can't help but wonder what kind of upbringing turns out an adult like this. Didn't you do any training to prepare for marriage at home?
Training for marriage? No, not at all. I don't even know what that entails.
This is the reason why the younger generation doesn't really know much. Although I suppose the blame also lies with mothers who don't give their daughters even the basic education to become a wife. It's giving me a headache thinking about how I'm supposed to teach someone like you. But for the sake of my precious grandchild, I'll just have to do my best. Madison, can I have a word with you?
Jennifer, what's the matter?
Did you look at the documents I sent you?
Yes. These are preschool brochures, right?
That's right. I've narrowed down 3 options for preschool where Elias could enroll. All of them are known for their high educational standards and great reputations. One of them is the preschool Jacob, your husband, graduated from. Back then, he received an excellent education, and I want Elias to have the same experience. I gave you the brochures, so make sure to go through them thoroughly.
Thank you. But Elias is only 2 months old. Isn't preschool something to think about a little later?
What are you talking about? Even preschools have entrance exams, you know? That's exactly why we need to prepare early. If you take it easy, you'll end up unprepared when the time comes. If you're as relaxed about this as you are about everything else, I'll just keep worrying about my grandchild's future. That's why it's a good thing I'm planning ahead and getting everything ready.
I really appreciate your thoughtfulness. Thank you so much. But we're not even sure if our family will still be living here by the time Elias is ready for preschool. It's still years away, so it's difficult to make concrete plans right now.
Not sure if you'll be living here? Wait, does that mean you're planning to move?
It's not so much a plan as it is an uncertain situation. There's talk of Jacob being transferred to head office. It would be a promotion, so if it's finalized, it'll be hard to decline. But it seems like the move wouldn't happen for another year or 2.
I see. Well, that sounds like a wonderful opportunity for him. Missing such a chance for advancement would definitely be something to regret later. But that doesn't mean the whole family has to move. He could just go by himself on a temporary assignment.
No, that's not something we're considering. As a family, we want to always live together. We don't want our child to feel lonely, and as a couple, we want to avoid that as well. Jacob feels the same, so if the transfer happens, I plan to go with him.
What are you talking about?
Huh?
I won't allow you to move. If you do that, I won't be able to see my grandchild. Absolutely no moving.
But it's not like you wouldn't see us at all. It's not that far. And we plan to come back for holidays like New Year's and during summer vacation.
Only New Year's and summer vacation?
And maybe other holidays as well.
What are you talking about? I'm telling you, moving is out of the question. No means no. Besides, I don't think you can provide proper education for Elias on your own. You're a mother who doesn't seem to think about the child's future at all. I need to be nearby.
It's not that I don't think about Elias's future. It's precisely because I do that I want to follow my husband's transfer.
If I say no, then it's no. The best thing for the child is to stay here. There are great preschools and elementary schools nearby. And many relatives, including me, live close by. On top of that, this area is very proactive in supporting child rearing.
But I believe that parents shouldn't be separated from their children.
Excuse me?
A family is a family when everyone lives together. Jacob said this himself. When he was a child, his father was often away for work and he felt lonely. I also had a lonely childhood because both my parents worked. That's why, as a couple, we decided not to let our child feel the same way.
But Jacob grew up just fine and turned out to be an admirable adult. You two are young and don't understand parenting at all. What children need most is advanced education from an early age. If you wait to give it to them later, it'll be too late. And another thing, children grow up better when there's a generation above the parents involved. Don't take away your child's future because of your selfishness.
Jennifer, whose selfishness are we talking about here? Isn't it you who's ignoring our decision and forcing your wishes onto us?
What did you just say? Are you calling me selfish?
I truly appreciate your concern for Jacob and Elias. But Elias is our responsibility as parents to raise. This child is not yours. So we have no intention of pushing them into entrance exams for preschool or anything like that. That's the decision we made as a couple, and it's something we believe in strongly. We want our child to have a childhood that isn't spent stressed about exams. We want them to grow up playing with friends freely and joyfully. That's what we believe a happy, healthy childhood should be.
You're not going to make them take entrance exams? Are you seriously saying something so ridiculous?
Yes, we don't think it's necessary. There are many forms of education. A standardized approach isn't the only way.
You're trying to ruin my grandchild's life, aren't you? How dare you limit their potential because of your selfishness? This is unacceptable. If you're so determined to do things your way, then go ahead and move wherever you like. But leave Elias here. If you do that, I'll let it slide.
That's absolutely out of the question. There's no way we could ever accept such an unreasonable demand. Elias is part of our family and being together is only natural.
You're truly a terrible mother. You only care about yourselves and are condemning your child to misery. I can't help but feel sorry for Elias, being born to such selfish parents. You don't deserve to talk about parenting if you can't even understand the love I have for my grandchild.
Jennifer, what on earth are you thinking? I know exactly what you did. Stop hiding it. You took Elias, didn't you? I stepped away to use the bathroom for just a couple of minutes, and when I got back, he was gone. Until then, he was definitely sleeping in the crib right next to me. I searched every corner of the house, but he was nowhere to be found. You're the only one with a spare key. It's only natural to think that you took him. Please, answer me. Where is my son?
Oh, calm down, will you? I did take him. I just couldn't leave him in your care. I was so worried about my precious grandson's future that I couldn't sit still.
How could you do something like that? Taking my child without consulting me, the mother, is absolutely unacceptable. Jennifer, please return my son. This is a very serious matter for our family.
No, I won't return him. I can't entrust a child to an inexperienced mother like you. Elias is our family's heir. I won't let someone like you raise him. Leave the parenting to me, and you two can go ahead and move wherever you want.
Don't be ridiculous. This is a crime, you know that?
The ridiculous one is you. I simply saved my grandson from an unfit mother. Anyway, I'm not giving him back. He will live here from now on. I'll make sure to protect his future.
Jennifer, do you understand what you're doing? I'm standing in front of your house right now. Open the door. I'm right outside your place. I know you're inside. Give me my son back right now.
You're so persistent. How many times do I have to tell you the same thing? I'm the one raising Elias. That's what's best for him. How many times do I have to say that I can't trust an unreliable mother like you? When I think about my precious grandson's future, it's only natural that I take him in.
I can't agree to this. Elias is the child of me and my husband. You have no right to do whatever you please. I don't want to escalate this any further, so open the door right now. If you refuse, be prepared for this to turn into a much bigger issue. This is my final warning. If you don't open the door, I will take appropriate measures.
You're so noisy. Who do you think you are? I've never heard of a daughter-in-law talking to her mother-in-law like this. Just shut up and get lost. You're a total waste as a daughter-in-law.
I see. I'm sorry to hear that. Since you refuse to listen, I'll have to take a different approach. Shall I bring someone in to convince you instead?
It doesn't matter who you bring, my decision won't change. Even if it's my husband or Jacob, I won't back down.
It's neither your husband nor Jacob. They're both at work, so I'm not planning to involve them right now.
Then who is it?
Margaret, your mother-in-law.
What? Margaret? Is she here? Why is she here? Why did you bring her?
I quickly drove over and brought her here. I figured the only person who could handle this was the one you fear most. After she learned about the situation, she was fuming and stated that this was beyond acceptable. Even though she's not feeling well, she insisted on coming along. That's how serious the situation is.
She's really here? No way, but I can't believe it. She's been dealing with a worsening hernia. Going out shouldn't even be possible.
And yet she still came. After hearing about the pain of a mother whose child was taken, she felt she had to come, even at a great personal effort. That shows just how awful your actions have been. Listen, you can hear her calling out, telling you to open the door, can't you? She's truly angry.
That's not true. I'm not the one at fault here. You're just too inexperienced as a mother, so I had no choice but to step in. Everything I did was for my grandchild. I can't possibly be wrong. In fact, I'm doing the right thing.
Let me share what Margaret has to say. Of course, young mothers are inexperienced. That's normal. They grow and learn through raising their children. It's not the place of an older generation to interfere and get in the way. She also said she understands how much you love your first grandchild. But going too far is a big mistake. This situation has made that abundantly clear. Jennifer, your parenting days are long over. Stop trying to take away our parenting just to satisfy your own ego.
What? That's not what But...
You might think you succeeded as a parent, but that's a huge misunderstanding. Your actions didn't always lead to positive outcomes for your children. Jacob told me this himself. He mentioned that you weren't really the best mom out there. The pain and restrictions he felt as a child are still deeply imprinted in him.
That's impossible. Do you know how much I sacrificed for him? I gave up everything for him.
It's true that you may have made great efforts, mother-in-law, but those efforts were self-serving and one-sided. They were the result of excessive overprotection and control that ignored your child's will. In other words, you were a helicopter mom to an extreme degree. You didn't allow your son to live freely. Instead, you forced him into the mold of your ideals. You might call it for your child's sake, but in reality, my husband feels that you took away many precious things from him.
What could I have possibly taken from him? I gave him everything he needed.
The joyful memories of childhood that every person should naturally have. Playing freely with friends, going on family trips, and even the occasional mischief that's part of being a child. He had hardly any of that. The simple joy of watching a funny TV show and laughing with family, buying the same magazine as his friends and enjoying it together, or playing outside and getting dirty, those small but meaningful experiences were taken from him. Instead, the memories Jacob has of his childhood are being forced into lessons he didn't want to attend. Being made to study after coming home and still being yelled at by you. Days that were stifling and filled with pressure.
That's not true. There must be good memories too. Didn't we go to the shopping mall as a family sometimes?
And even then, he remembers not being allowed to have ice cream because you said it would rot his brain. All that's left are sad memories.
No, that's not true. I only did what I thought was best for him. I didn't know what else to do.
It's true that Jacob went to a good school and joined a good company. But have you ever stopped to think if that truly made him happy? He told me he has doubts about your parenting style. He wonders if there might have been a better way. And it's not just that. He even said that he resents you. That speaks volumes about how much the trust between you as a parent and child has been damaged.
You're lying. That can't be true. Do you have any idea how much I sacrificed and struggled for Jacob? Why can't anyone understand the love I poured into him?
It's not a lie. Jacob couldn't take your controlling attitude anymore, and he even consulted with Margaret about it. Margaret wasn't harsh with you just to be mean. She realized there were serious problems with your parenting methods.
That's not true. She was only strict with me because she didn't like me. She just wanted to deny everything I did because it annoyed her.
That's not true. That's just your paranoia. Please, stop twisting your memories to suit your narrative. You should have listened to others more.
No, I wasn't wrong. I gave my all for my son.
As long as you refuse to admit your mistakes, you'll never build genuine trust with anyone. Now, open the door immediately. Refusing to continue this discussion any further is pointless. By the way, I just spoke with your husband. He made it obvious that if you don't hand the child back to me, he'll be filing for divorce. Even now, are you still planning to hold on to your pride?
What? Wait a minute. I'll open the door right away.
Just so you know, Margaret would like to talk to you directly. Please take this opportunity to listen carefully. This might be your last chance, Jennifer. Both Jacob and your husband have left work early and will be here soon. We'll be holding a family meeting today, right here, so prepare yourself. Honestly, it's quite embarrassing to still be getting scolded at your age. It makes me wonder what kind of parenting you could have possibly done. I hope this incident teaches you firsthand just how much overbearing parents can harm their children. This is your only chance to change, so make the most of it.
No, this can't be happening.
After that, our family completely cut ties with Jennifer. My father-in-law officially filed for divorce and has since started a new life. The era of Jennifer's control came to an absolute end. She lost the trust of those around her and became estranged from her husband's relatives and friends. Her reputation as someone who only thinks about herself spread far and wide. Even so, she continued to believe her methods were correct. But her stubbornness ultimately led to her complete isolation. Now, I hear she's living a lonely life back at her family home, feeling out of place. Of course, we took legal action regarding her kidnapping of Elias. As a result, a restraining order was issued against her, and now she can't even come near our family. Her attempt to use her grandchild as leverage failed, and she's been left with nowhere to turn. Meanwhile, our family moved to a new city for Jacob's transfer, and we're now enjoying calm and peaceful days. Elias is growing up happily with a smile that never fades. This is what true happiness feels like. We're looking forward to creating many wonderful memories together as a family of 3.
Thank you for watching. Please rate the video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.